I don't know if you're aware of this, but voters on the Republican side are not voting on the economy, so they shouldn't be touting that. They're voting on race and racial animus. So says Joy Reid. This is her big master takeaway from last night's basic nomination of Donald Trump. Take a listen, Satu.
But Republican voters don't vote that way. They don't vote based on economics or based on the benefits they're getting economically from the president. They're increasingly, from the Tea Party on, they're voting on race. They're voting on this idea of an invasion of brown people over the border. The idea that they can't get whatever job they want. A black person got it, therefore drive all the blacks out of the colleges, get rid of DEI. That is what they're voting on. They're just voting specifically on racial animus. At this stage, it isn't about economics.
No.
You see, the blacks want to, or the Republicans want to get all the blacks out of the colleges. Didn't you guys have an article on that in National Review? How do we get the blacks out of universities? Yep. This is so absurd. It's so insulting, but it's kind of hard to get insulted by Joy Reid now. She's just such a comical figure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they look through everything through racial means and want to preserve all these poisonous racialist arguments and structures in American life. And the idea that there's only like white people that care about border security is deeply insulting. I mean, plenty of Latinos care about it as well. Plenty of African Americans care about it as well. And it's a top top issue, maybe the top issue, depending on the poll, for a reason, right? It doesn't just affect border states. Rachel Maddow was mocking people in Virginia caring about the border. It's like, oh, yeah, Virginia has a border with West Virginia. But these migrants come in and they go everywhere, right? Why is Eric Adams exercised about illegal immigration? New York State isn't a border state, right? It doesn't border Mexico. So this is like totally out of touch. But it's a sign of where the left is. And this is a reason Biden has gone on for 3 years or more now without fixing a totally unsustainable situation at the border that's bad for the country and catastrophic for his political prospects.
It's everything is reduced to race. You're upset about illegal immigration. You don't like brown people. You're upset about illegal immigration. You want blacks out of colleges. What are you saying? All the blacks in the colleges are illegal immigrants? I mean, if I said that, you'd be calling me a racist pig, Joy Reid. It's no better when you say it.
Yep.
Then here's the comment that you just referenced. I mean, the most disgusting comment of the night. And that's saying something because MSNBC is really giving itself a run for its money. Each night, they all triple down on who could be the worst. And in this particular clip, you've got three of the faves. You've got Joy Reid, Rachel Maddow, and Jen Psaki scoffing. I mean, just sneering at this notion that Virginia voters are going to vote based on immigration or care about immigration. Look at this.
I mean, if you look at some of these exit polls, I mean, I live in Virginia. Immigration was the number one issue. I mean, again, these could change in Virginia.
Well, Virginia does have a border with West Virginia. Very contested area.
Build a wall. Like, what? I mean, when I was in New Hampshire, people were talking about the northern border as a threat. Because Trump has indoctrinated people with this fear of people who do not look like them being a threat to them.
But as you know, I mean, in every election cycle, particularly when there's a Democratic incumbent, we get reminded about the borders, and the borders become a thing again. And then,
the only difference now is they drop the every 4 years part, and now I mean all the programming about cities is the coded threat of crime and
well, meanwhile, on Earth One, the FBI reports that violent crime in America is at a 50-year low.
And migrant crime is not a thing.
And migrant crime is not a thing. And you live on Earth One.
There's so much to do there, Rich. Migrant crime is not a thing. Tell it to the family of the 14-year-old girl in Campbell County, Virginia, who was just sexually assaulted by an illegal from Venezuela who's now been arrested and charged after he crossed illegally into El Paso, Texas in September of 23, this past September, and released into the United States by the feds. Stephen Miller online responds, about 1 in 8 Virginia residents today was born in a foreign country. 1 in 4 very young people has a foreign-born parent in Virginia. In Fairfax County public schools, roughly 20% of students struggle to speak English. Migration has completely reshaped the Commonwealth of Virginia, where I used to live as well. This is They laugh and sneer at their own peril. They'll learn in November what the truth is.
Yeah, well, Rachel Maddow should go to the south side of Chicago and meet with the local residents who are outraged. You know, we all saw these clips from the community meetings or interviews on the street. Migrants are being moved into their community center, right? They want the community center for their teenagers, their at-risk teenagers, the kind of people that Rachel Maddow is supposed to care about. And there's no reason that people from another country should just walk into the country and go to their community center. That's how they feel, and it's totally commonsensical and reasonable. Do they not listen to anything that Brandon Johnson says or Eric Adams says? These cities being overwhelmed with the housing and the costs associated with it from illegal immigrants. So this is a national crisis. It's not a manufactured thing. If Trump didn't exist and no Republican was talking about the border at all, people would still feel this way, right? Because they see it all around them. And even, Stephen is absolutely right about how immigration's changed the demographics of Virginia. But even if you never, you're someplace in the middle of the country that literally you never encounter an immigrant, it doesn't mean that you can still not be outraged by what's happening at the border, right? There are tons of people who are outraged and fearful of climate change who will never encounter a climate change event that's in any way threatening to them, right? So this is ridiculous. It just goes to just how radical they've gotten on this issue. Joe Biden 20, 30 years ago did not sound the way he does now on the border. He says we have to stop illegal immigration. Bill Clinton said we have to stop illegal immigration. But even doing that now is considered nasty and retrograde, and only people in the throes of deep racial fantasies believe in it. That's a crazy place.
To say in the wake of Laken Riley's murder, a week ago on the University of Georgia campus, that migrants, they're not linked to crime. They are too. And we talked about this on our show yesterday, pivoting on what I heard on your show, The Editors with Charles C.W. Cook, saying even one is too many. American citizens committing crime is one thing. We don't applaud it. We don't want it. We try to punish it in certain jurisdictions. But we don't have to deal. We shouldn't have to deal with illegals coming over here and committing crime. Even one is too many. And as this girl, her family is still mourning. That grave is freshly dug, and they are out there sneering about how migrants don't commit crime.
Yeah, and it's entirely avoidable, right? That's what makes it so maddening and outrageous. At any number of junctures, that guy, he never should have gotten in the country in the first place. He should have been deported at any number of junctures. If we're just following our own laws, it never would have happened. And that's a huge deal to anyone who has an ounce of common sense, but that doesn't apply to many people on the set at MSNBC.
Let's discuss a crucial aspect of your financial health, your credit report. It's time to face a hard truth. Your credit report could be suffering due to unfounded, reputation-damaging claims. These are the kind of claims that simply will not hold up under rigorous scrutiny. And that's where Lexington Law Firm comes into play. For less than $100, Lexington Law champions your cause, using a comprehensive arsenal of consumer protection laws to fight for your best credit report. Lexington Law is fully equipped to challenge those exploitative creditors who also work with the aggressive debt collectors, and they obstruct your financial path and future. Go and visit lexingtonlaw.com for a complimentary credit assessment. Let their experts place your credit under the microscope, ensuring it reflects your true financial story. Remember to mention that Megyn referred you. Again, that's lexingtonlaw.com. Empower yourself with the right team on your side. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.